on the head, on the nail, on the, what's the saying? On the nose. That's something we got on the nose.
What are the internal comms trends set to shape 2023?
That's a great question, Kaz. What are the internal comms trends set to shape 2023? Let's find out what I said.
So it could be now or never if we really want to transform the employee experience. So let's dive in. Our first trend is that
I just want to say very quickly, whatever filter you've got on that 2023 trends video, I want it on this video because I look about 12 years old. Gosh, it's been a long year.
employee alignment over employee engagement. Essentially, we're going back to basics. Instead of just investing in engagement for the sake of engagement, things like free pizza on a Friday, instead we're investing in alignment campaigns.
Okay, so this trend is alignment over engagement. So internal comms team being more focused on mission, vision and values. And I think that's really come to light. National Grid did a great session at Unite 23 about how they did their values refresh. And I think post-pandemic, a lot of companies have gone back to the drawing board to either reshape their mission or their strategy. And so I've seen a lot of companies this year definitely invest more in alignment and kind of go back from the step back from this whole obsession with engagement. So I'm going to say I got that one right.
Trend number 2, the rise of the employee journey mindset. Now, as we mature in the employee experience space, that means we understand that the likeness between employee experience and customer experience is probably less than we originally anticipated.
So that's something that definitely did happen in 2023. We saw customer experience and employee experience being discussed in the same sentence all the time. I spoke about it at events and I saw people quoting it, this whole CX equals EX equation thing. It seems to be really gathering momentum. And actually, our CEO at Unite 23 had a big part of his pitch around how those two parts are constituents of the same equation, and that this era coming up is the employee experience era.
Which means understanding the key employee journeys that make up the employee experience, things like onboarding, things like moving into a manager role, understanding what the steps of those are, and ensuring that we've mapped them out and have made them as engaging as possible, and so employees have a good experience with that.
So this trend is the employee journey mindset. It links to that whole customer experience things where marketing teams have mapped out all these different journeys for their personas and do everything they can to remove every single piece of friction or any problem area or challenge as part of that journey. We spoke about this at our masterclass and people were really interested in the employee journey mindset to make the employee experience better. Did we really see that manifest to the day-to-day of internal comms roles? No, I don't think we did. I think people were excited by the concept and they made progress or small steps in that area. But I think there's more maturing to be had there. And I think part of it's to do with resource.
Experimenting more with multifaceted employee experience teams. So if we really want to improve employee journeys, we're going to understand that internal comms can't do it alone. And that means working with HR, becoming a bit of a power couple in the organization.
A power couple of the organisation. I really do talk off the cuff. I think that in itself did not manifest in our organisations. I really want to see IEC and HR working like sisters or power couple, as I said last year. But for some reason, I think these like traditional structures of the organisation really throw barriers at helping those two teams collaborate, even when they're in the HR function, I think.
Trend number 4, doing more with less. So it's no surprise this year is not going to be the one with big budgets and increases in budgets. So
firstly, that was correct. We saw budgets either stay steady or decrease, and that's kind of coming into this year as well. I think saw one publication call it the EX winter freeze of budgets.
That means looking to technology like engagement automation, like AI, seeing what little improvements we can make, taking some of the manual work out so that we can focus on the more strategic elements of the role.
So looking back on this, it seems obvious that you would speak about AI because that's all anyone's heard throughout this year. But I have to say, we come up with these predictions before the end of 2023, so we hadn't really caught the AI hype. So that was, I'd probably say, the prediction we got on the nose, because everyone, I've seen internal comms team all going into AI and using ChatGPT to basically do loads of things, throw different tasks at it, see how it can create bits of content. And I think that's something we got on the head, on the nail, what's the saying? On the nose. That's something we got on the nose.
Trend number 5, less talking, more listening.
I wish I would do less talking and more listening.
So I suspect people have heard of employee listening and have started to implement it in the last couple of years. This is the year that we think it's really going to come into its own. That means having their own employee listening strategies is something that we think is worth investing in. Understanding beyond that once a year employee engagement survey, what are the other touch points with employees where they're really listening to them, and how often are we listening to them?
So this one is all about employee listening and employee listening strategies. I think employee listening did grow in 2023. I think we started to understand, yes, engagement surveys are important to benchmark how we're improving year on year, but is that in reality adding value, everyday improvement, 1% incremental gains for the employee experience? No. So I saw a lot of organizations start to be a bit more ad hoc in pulse surveys and things like that, but I don't think we overall have invested in employee listening strategies.
Encouraging employees to contribute ideas to improve the company, that's another form of employee listening.
That said, ideation, I think, is one area of untapped employee listening. When I speak to organizations about it, they get really excited and want to empower employees to give ideas, especially those younger generation, Gen Z. They care about coming up with ideas and improving the company. But the reality of implementing that is quite complex for some organizations. I think that comes back down to structure as well. So that's one area of employee listening that I think I predicted that would grow in 2023. I don't think that really made any headway at all.
Trend number 6, the rise of the internal comms influencer. So this is one of my favorite ones, and I've seen it come to life on social media platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter. But
we got that one on the nose. Because I feel like I've ridden that wave a little bit. I was following some of these influencers on LinkedIn, and my theory was that internal comms people are the people best placed to grow and influence on social media, because they have the privilege of being close to employees and knowing what they want, but equally have had to communicate to leadership and build that relationship, but also obviously they're good communicators. So that puts them in prime position to influence on social media like LinkedIn, particularly obsessed at the moment with Joanna Parsons, Advita Patel, Jenny Field, loads more names as well. Really growing in that area. There's also this great guy called Kaz Hassan. Don't know if you've heard of him, but his content's really killing it at the moment. Follow me. Gosh, that's cringe.
Ultimately, you guys are in a unique position to share your learnings, and having worked with all types of employees, all shapes and sizes of organizations, you can share those learnings via blogs, vlogs, and podcasts. Which
Preach.
brings me nicely to my 7th and final trend for 2023, closing the IC skills gap. So that means investing in accreditations from organisations like the Chartered Institute of PR or the Institute for Internal Communications. Both of these organisations have accreditations that you can get involved in to ultimately prove your skills when it comes to internal comms, but also we think it'll be worth investing beyond those typical.
I think that I thought we would see much more growth and maturity in like internal comms kind of learning paths and accreditations, and there's still really great stuff out there, but I don't think people have properly invested in them. I think there's still a way to go, so I don't think I got this one 100% right.
Cool internal comms skills, looking at sites like LinkedIn Learning for some free upskilling on analytical or numerical skills that we really think will come in handy when it comes to communicating the value of internal comms to leadership.
Oh, so I did get that bit right, which is that you guys would be particularly interested in metrics, numbers, data, to shed that metrics myth. So I guess that was partially right.
Thanks so much for listening.
Gosh, that was quite an abrupt ending. So maybe I've miscalculated that, but I think I got 3 solidly right, 2 solidly wrong, and 2 up to the viewer's interpretation. So 3 out of 7 is, I mean, at the end of the year, I was like, guaranteed 7 out of 7, I've got this in the bag. So clearly my ego got in the way there, but I'm thinking 2024 is the year I'm going to get 100% of them right. So stay tuned and I will play my 2024 trends out and do the same thing next year.